So you want to retire in Thailand? Well, here we go. If there's one thing I can get across in this video is I want you to travel all over Thailand before you plant your roots and hunker down somewhere, because there's so many different things to see and you have no idea until you've been there for at least a month or so which one you like. I can tell you that is true. So I got a question the other day from a Patreon member. Well, I got several questions. And I thought it would be probably a generally good idea to let everyone know, if you want to retire over here in Thailand, what to expect in the first 3 to 6 months that you're over here. Because I don't know if you've lived here or not, but I've lived here going on a decade now. I'm gonna try to cross the street, go have a beer with you. I don't know if you're having a beer, but I'm gonna have a beer. You can have your coffee, tea, or well, it's probably morning time for you, so whatever you drink in the morning. Mimosa. All right, careful crossing the street. Yeah, we're good, we're good, we're good. But I can remember when I first got over here, I didn't know anybody or anything about Thailand. And I don't recommend anyone to ever do that. Don't ever go to a country completely blindsided. Mind you, I knew I was only going to come over here for a few months. I had no idea I was going to stay here all these years. I had no idea. It was you guys, Patreon's members, and everyone that pushed me and kept me going on YouTube, and now it's going on, yeah, like I said, going on a decade. And on that note, by the way, if you want personalized videos directed, because the Patreon that brought this question on, I tailor make videos for anyone with questions. Depending on your concerns or needs, I will answer any question that I have any knowledge about on how to live, stay over here, what visa you need, what visa you want, wives, girlfriends, businesses. Yeah. Consider becoming a Patreon, please, or a member, and just sign up, and I will address any questions that you have. Now, let me sit down. I was so loud for her. Let me sit down. Well, my friend, she's sleeping. Good morning. And let me tell you what's going on if it's going to be your first time retiring in Thailand. So if you're planning on moving, oh, by the way, cheers. If you're considering or planning to move to Thailand or Vietnam, I've never lived in the Philippines and I've never lived in Vietnam, so I can't really address it, but I know that Thailand, Vietnam, and the Philippines seem to be a generally okay place for a lot of people to retire. And personally, for me, it was a key factor on how much a US dollar would convert over into a Thai baht. That was the first rule that I looked at, or first thing I considered when I looked at considering retiring in Thailand. The second thing was I figured I would be the same height as the people over here, which is true because people in Asia typically are shorter than Forangs and Westerners, and I'm short, so I kind of fit right in. And the third thing was that the Asian women, some Asian women are attracted to Forang men. All right, and in America, I can tell you that Forang women are not even attracted to Forang men. And it's a joke, but you guys know with all the politics that are going on with everything, that you understand what I'm talking about. It's not easy to get a date in America. Back to talking about retirement. If you've never been to Thailand like me, it's going to be very, very confusing for you at first. So one thing to consider when retiring, if you're from the United States, like I'm from, you were typically born and raised with the American dream of buying a house, paying for your house, getting the house paid off, retiring, taking your money, maybe selling the house, maybe. If there's one thing I can get across in this video is I want you to travel all over Thailand before you plant your roots and hunker down somewhere, because there's so many different things to see and you have no idea until you've been there for at least a month or so which one you like. I can tell you that is true. Maybe selling the house, taking that nest egg of money and retiring on that. Or maybe you give the house to your children, not siblings, or family members, or whatnot. I do not feel that that is what you should do in Thailand, but that is my personal opinion. Let's talk about that. Some people come to Thailand and they want to buy a house. I personally don't want to own. In America, I did. In America, I wanted to buy a house, get the house paid off, and be done with it. But in Thailand, there's so much to think about freedom-wise. I will tell you right now that most of the people that I know that have moved over here successfully, I would say 65–70% of them have two properties. One is probably a house that they've built for their wife or girlfriend in her hometown. Bar none, that's a given. If you have a Thai woman and she wants to go home and introduce you to her hometown, probably somewhere up in Isan or up north where it's a lot quiet, and it's a lot more quiet, it's a lot cheaper, and build a home, and she will build face, and her family will be proud that she has actually built and bought some land in her hometown. Now mind you, can you see the guy behind me? So this type of person, what usually happens is they do, for their wife or their girlfriend, they'll go home, they'll build a house, buy a house, build a house, buy some land, build a house on the land, etc., etc. But a lot of times that's going to be a very, very small community, and a lot of times Farangs need to go golfing, or they want to go to the beach, or they want to go somewhere else, so they'll have a second property, which will be a rental property. That may sound expensive to you, but once you get over here, and I don't know your budget and your retirement plan, but it may not be as expensive to have two properties in Thailand as you might think it would be. I can tell you completely that if you're renting, it would be inexpensive to have two properties. So I know people that do that. I personally, when I hunker down somewhere, I like to stay there. I get kind of, when I was in Bangkok for the first 6 months, I stayed in one spot, and then once I moved to Kamala, I haven't left at all. I mean, I know I'm up here in Bangkok right now, but I'm visiting, I'm traveling, and that's what I wanted to say. If you retire over here, you can travel so much. I would not be putting roots down and building or buying a home immediately. If there's one thing I can get across in this video is I want you to travel all over Thailand before you plant your roots and hunker down somewhere, because there's so many different things to see and you have no idea until you've been there for at least a month or so which one you like. I can tell you that is true. One example is I like Bangkok, but Bangkok's traffic is terrible. Bangkok's pollution is terrible. Bangkok, how many people are pushed into one section can be overwhelming for a lot of people. I can live in Bangkok, I have no problem with that. A lot of people, maybe not. Then let's talk about where I live now, Kamala. Kamala is what, Phuket is a wonderful, wonderful island, but it's also the most expensive and most touristy area other than Pattaya. I would say is probably more touristy. No. Pattaya is cheaper and a different type of tourist. I'll just leave it at that. Different type of tourist. Phuket, different type of tourist. But both equally busy. Pattaya is cheaper. Pattaya is cheaper. Phuket's very expensive. But I stay in Phuket, but I can tell you right now, traffic in Phuket because of high season is matzo ball crazy. It's so crazy that some of my friends are considering moving. I am not easily swayed that way. I do not like to move around a lot, even though I did move halfway around the world. Ironically, I don't like to move. So once I get somewhere, I like to get settled. But if you're coming over here for the first time and you've never experienced Thailand on a grand scale of visiting Chiang Mai, Chiang Rai, Pattaya, Phuket, Bangkok, the southern parts of Thailand, which I don't know much about at all, there can be so much to see that my number one takeaway in this video is give it 6 months, give it 3-6 months before you actually plan where you're going to stay. You might get here and you might think that Pattaya is the best thing you've ever seen. Trust me, it can be fun. but it might not be the best thing. I can tell you people that have lived there long enough to leave. You can come to Phuket, some of the most beautiful, beautiful beaches in all of the world. I can tell you, after time and after the price of some things, it might not be your bag of tea. Bangkok is really, I don't know, unless you're into business and working in a hustle and bustle, which I kind of like hustle and bustle, Bangkok is a really, really odd place for a lot of people to say they're going to retire there. You're going to consider how much money you're bringing to the table over here. If you have Social Security from America, or a pension and Social Security, or your country has some type of retirement plan, you have to consider if the North and Isan area, where it's very inexpensive to live, is that going to be a better place for you, and you visit the beaches and you visit the high-end places, which is so cheap because you can get airline fares over here for like 1,500 baht, which is like $40 US dollars one way. I'm talking one way, so you can travel easily even with a partner for under $100 to go see something and $100 to get back. So what I wanted to say in this video is, you're going to retire over here. You're thinking about retiring over here. I think that's a great idea. Or Vietnam, or the Philippines, or anywhere else. Go there, hang out, talk to someone like me that's been here for almost a decade. Once you're over here, you're going to meet so many people that are like you or friends of yours that you're going to meet. And you're going to hear some BS and you're going to hear some truth. And it's up to you to figure out which one's BS and which one's truth. I can tell you it's pretty easy to figure out the truth from the BS pretty quickly over here. But you'll get a sense of the best hospital that's local, the best place to rent, if you should buy, how not to buy. You're going to meet someone that's already bought a house, and they're going to tell you the pitfalls that they have buying a house, or they're going to tell you how wonderful it was that they finally built a house up in their girlfriend and wife's territory, and how they get up to that area and that it's tranquil and it's peaceful and they enjoy it. So that's a lot to say in one little video, but I did want to get that out because, one, it was a question from a Patreon. I did a more in-depth version with him and I tailored it to his specific question. But two, if he had that question, I know you probably do too, and enjoy your retirement, whether it's coming up or whether you're already over here. And by the way, if you've made mistakes over here and bought something or paid for something or spent too much money on something or someone, don't worry, it's not over. There's plenty of people over here that have done that, and you can get with us, ask us. I'll sit down and talk with you anytime that you want to. If you want to have a conversation, I will give you my best advice, and trust me, my advice is pretty damn good. So I'll see you guys later. This is Thailand Rob out, patting myself on the back. I didn't mean to say it, my advice is that good, but it is. Just take your time. Don't rush into anything, whether it's a relationship or buying anything over here. Take your time, relax. You've got the rest of your life, right? Love you guys. Take care. Click the like button. See you later. Bye.